The other day we sold another company for $4 million.
Wow.
And the buyer did a roll-up, and the buyer sold the company for $1 billion.
Just tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm Mike Adhikari. I am in mergers acquisition for last 30 plus years. My transactions are all around the country, some international, but mainly in the United States. I'm from Chicago, Illinois, but transactions are, as I said, all over the country. They range in multiple industries, whether they are in manufacturing, healthcare, mental health counseling. I'm also on the board of a few companies. So I enjoy education. I used to teach at Kellogg Business School. Now I teach here at M&A Source, IBBA, and a few other associations.
Can you tell us, how did you first get into M&A?
Well, that's a very interesting question. When I was in a corporate life, I moved up the ladder, and we were a $500 million division of a corporation. Our president was supposed to move to the corporate, and one day, so anyway, because of that, he took everybody and said, okay, he should have a second and third level executives ready. So he put us through a program. Unfortunately, he had to leave, and therefore the new boss came in, and the new boss basically fired everybody who was ready to go to second and third layer management. So then I said, I'm going to buy a business. When I started to look for buying a business, I realized brokers didn't know a lot of things. And then I said, well, I'm going to use my knowledge and experience in helping other business sellers sell the business. And that's how I got going.
Sometimes you just got to be ready for anything, right?
And I'm telling you to be ready for anything. Here I was looking to buy for myself, and I asked questions to brokers in those days, and they answered questions that did not make sense. The answer did not make sense. So I knew there was a major void in the marketplace. So I said, I'm going to fulfill that. And here I am.
And now you're successful.
Yeah, and then it was just so much fun to help somebody exit, help a buyer buy a good business and grow. My philosophy is both should succeed, seller and the buyer.
Good. And so it's a win-win situation.
It's the first focus is win-win situation, and as I said, in one case we sold the company. The day after, the buyer had a major problem. They called me, buyer, seller, says we expect unexpected problem. I helped them out for 6 months. Time goes by, they asked me to join their board, and then a few years later, we sold that company for significant gain to everybody. Significant.
So good things come around.
Good things come around, yeah.
For sure.
And the other day, we sold another company for $4 million.
Wow.
And the buyer did a roll-up, and the buyer sold the company for $1 billion in 4.5 years.
Wow.
So that's the kind of thing I enjoy, being part of those kinds of things.
Wow, okay. Well, when we think of M&A, people like me who know nothing about M&A, we think of money, the money being moved. What's the average, on average, how much money moves in a typical deal, you would say?
How much money moves what?
In a typical deal.
For me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. My transaction value, if that's what you're asking, is low for current 4 or 5 years. Prior to that, my average transaction was $15 million.
Wow.
Purchase price.
Okay.
And so it keeps going up and down. Since COVID, it has been a little low. 21 was good, but 23, 24 is low. So it keeps going up and down.
Okay. Yeah. Well, with the advent of technology, AI is certainly here, and I'm sure you've maybe seen or heard of AI being used in your line of work as well. How are you adapting to these technology advancements to your workmanship?
Well, at the moment, my focus of AI is I probably access AI a few times a day for research. I educate myself about an industry before I talk to a seller or to a buyer or about an industry, and that is more or less nonstop. That's the current one. I have yet not been able to use AI for lead generation or anything. But it helps a lot because you're trying to understand competitors of a company or profile of so and so, and that's so easy to find. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Mike, thank you so much for your time.
Yeah,
But
my pleasure.
one quick question, if
Yes,
you
sir.
don't mind. What would be the biggest challenge for you, or a pain point that you have in this industry?
I think the education, whether it's AI or non-AI, the space is so broad. It's like I teach. When I teach, I tell people, well, you know bicycle, therefore you can say, gee, I know how to drive scooter. If you know scooter, you say, well, I can know how to drive car. If I'm driving car, I would say, well, gee, I know how to drive a truck. Well, it's not the same thing. And same thing is happening in this industry. When somebody knows how to sell a business or a building or a real estate, they think they can do anything.
Yeah.
And that is the biggest challenge. How do you educate that there are a lot of different things? Slowly we are getting there, and AI is not necessarily is providing good information to more people much faster, but sometimes it gets misunderstood. So information has a higher probability of getting misunderstood by people who thinks they are some hotshot.
Exactly. You're 100% right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's but good and bad, like everything else.
Yeah.
So it's like internet made a big help, so will AI in terms of knowledge.
Yeah, I think you really need to know how to filter out what's correct and what's incorrect.
I like the way you just put it. Yeah, and that's where, that's
Differentiating the wrong and the
differentiating right
Yeah.
from the wrong.
Exactly.
But life will continue.
Yeah. Well, thank you so
All
much
right,
for your
thank
time
you,
once
thank
again,
you,
Mike.
thank you, David.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes.